Okay, so today, again, another simple card, because you know how I like them. Um, but this is going to have a bit more interest on the background. I've started with a blank plain cardstock. It's just Crafts cardstock from Basil. And I'm going to actually stamp my own background onto it, just as a repetitive background. So this is just a standard size card. So A4 cut in half and then folded in half. So here I'm using a stamp cube. It's got lots of different designs on it, and I've chosen the one I wanted. I don't know why I decided to stamp this in black on my Stamp-A-Majig sheet, but I did, and my black ink's really dry, so it didn't show up particularly well, but you can see it, or I could see it. You probably can't on the video. And then I realised I wanted to stamp it in brown anyway, so I had to clean the stamp. But never mind, these things happen in card making, don't they? So yeah, anyway, I used my Stamp-A-Majig to align where I wanted the pattern, and then repeated that process, as you'll see in just a minute. I always make sure I've inked up the rubber stamp really well. Sometimes the first impression isn't as good as the second and third and following impressions, and that was definitely true here, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, you're doing a background, it's not going to be perfect, and I quite like the effect of, you know, the different depths of ink on the stamp, so I was fine with it. Anyway, you can see me here just lining them up using my Stamp-A-Majig method. It was a bit confusing because I couldn't remember which way I picked up the stamp each time, but I finally got there. Anyway, I did the whole thing. I won't have shown you all that. And as I say, you can see some stamps have given a deeper impression than others, but I like it. So this is just a strip of cream paper card to go across the front. I didn't measure it. I just kind of cut it out and eyed it up. I wasn't sure where I wanted it, but I made the decision at some point. So then I wanted a flower as my topper. And these are the Cuttlebug dies. So I cut out the flower petals in this is pink card, and then I chose a green die cut backdrop for it. And those two colours look really lovely together. They're both Stampin' Up colours, so they tie in really well, as do all of their lovely cards and paper. So yeah, I ran them both through the Cuttlebug at the same time because, well, it's quicker, it's easier, and yeah, it's possible. You can see my well-used cutting plate there. I think it's about to snap, but never mind. So yeah, just pull them all off the dies and pop out all the inserts. The inset pieces. Yeah, this one got a bit of a sponge of the dye on it, but yeah, just rub that all off, and you can see how I'm going to layer them. And I wanted a little gemstone in the middle to add a bit of bling. I said this in the last video. You can buy these that are, you know, with a sticker that you can just peel off and put on self-adhesive, but I always just glue mine on. So anyway, I've mounted this with a glue dot, and I'm just kind of looking at it, see where I want to put it, and I decided in the first place I would put it centrally, but I did later change my mind, but that's okay, we're allowed. So yeah, just stuck this down. I'm really sorry, my head gets right in the way here, but I like to look over my work when I'm positioning stuff. Wow, yeah, I really did get my head in the way there. Anyway, and then just cut off the excess on the edges. You can measure it up exactly before you mount it, but I always find it looks a bit neater this way because you never quite get it exact otherwise. Yeah, I wasn't sure quite what I was doing. I was totally winging this card, which I like to do occasionally, not have a specific design in mind and just go for it. Yeah, so now I'm going to stick this topper onto the card using 3-dimensional stickers. And these are super sticky dimensional stickers, which became a problem later on when I removed it and replaced it. And you can see here I'm using the Tim Holtz designer ruler, which is good for centralizing projects because it has the 0 scale in the middle going outwards. You'll know what I mean if you've got one, but I wouldn't be without it now. It's a really useful tool, as well as it being a good ruler. So yeah, I just cut out the letters because instead of just sticking them on being white, I wanted to colour them in using the inks. And here I'm using the pinky red colour from my Chalkbox ink set. It didn't actually dry very well. I thought it was going to dry a bit better, so I kind of used the heat gun to try and dry it, and that also didn't work. It did dry eventually, but it took like overnight to actually more of a stain, I think, rather than a colour. So I had a bit of a faff trying to get them on because every time I touched it, it would pull off the ink. So it was a bit awkward, but in the end, it worked out fine. You know, I quite like playing around with new techniques, and if they don't quite work the way you expect it, well, that's just kind of the way it goes. So yeah, I stuck all those down. And then I got my acrylic stamp set, and I stamped these with the StazOn, black StazOn ink, mainly because my other black ink pad is just dry as a bone, and I wanted a good impression. So see, that looks good. I like that. But I was unsure about where I placed the topper. I thought it needed kind of moving to the right. So yeah, but these super sticky 3-dimensional stickers just would not come off. But I found if you just rubbed them, all the adhesive would just ball up and then rub away anyway. So it was fine. It didn't look like I'd made a mistake. Well, not made a mistake, changed my mind, I suppose you should say. And then I thought I'd finished it, but I wasn't sure. I thought the top left looked a bit bare, and Fun Birthday didn't seem like a finished sentiment. So I got my super tiny alphabet stamps, which are a complete faff to line up because they stick to you and they stick to everything, but they're really effective. And I was just testing they're all lined up properly, and then I stamped the Have a Fun Birthday. And I thought that balanced the card, and then I was finally happy with it.